Hello, welcome to my channel once again. Sometimes I wonder how people, view things as some. But I want to let you know that I have been reading your comments, and somebody was like lambasting that if this calculation works on basketball, that the basketball if works, I wouldn't have posted it here. I wouldn't have posted it if it works. Let me just tell you, this is all dynamics. Understand? Betting is dynamics. You're dealing with human beings. You're not dealing with computer. Computer, you can give computer, put in computer whatever you want to put in, and get that same information from the computer. Understand? Computer can be static, and computer is not all round static. But when you're talking about human beings, you are betting on human beings. It should be dynamic. You're not sure that something might turn around, something might cause. Maybe you can see a club, for example, that is winning this team all the time, but one day you play that definitely they win. But when that day comes, the club that is losing streak lost eventually wins. What will you talk about that? It's dynamics. You see, for example, when you're talking about this basketball now, right? For example, Milwaukee Bucks and Indiana Pacers. If you go to their table, for example, you know that okay, based on this, you say okay, there's a lot of gap here. Understand? Milwaukee is expected to win in this game. And if you play it, it might win, but don't be surprised that it might play it, you might still lose it. It might play it, Indiana will win this game. So, in this sense, please, what I only taught you is how these people calculate their games, And what I told you about this thing is that when you want to calculate how these people play their game, the Milwaukee Bucks and Indiana, what you have to do is to first of all you check the table, okay? Now you will go around and check the head-to-head. When you check the head-to-head, for example, that's what I taught you, and you check their past games. These are past games, and luckily enough, the only ones entered in 2022. All the rest of the ones are 2021, which means 2021 is a little bit backwards. A lot can still happen within the space of 1 year, So, but that doesn't mean you don't have to do your statistics. You still have to do your statistics and take up on how you can play your game. You yourself have to use your number six to know that is not how it is placed, that and is how you're gonna play it. For example, this is now is hedge to hedge. I told you before, you have to calculate, you have to plus all this. Like this, Milwaukee has 128, 114, 100, 109, 133. You plus them, divided by 5. If you divide it by 5, what you get is 124. And that's at point two. Then Indiana is 119, 99, 118, 119, 144. If you plus them and divide it by 5, sorry, what we get is 112. Sorry, what we get is 112. That's what we get. Which is 124 under the Milwaukee is greater than 112 under the Indiana. Indiana has an average of 112, while Milwaukee has average of 124. So based on this, okay, you can look at it, you see that the Milwaukee is better. So they're higher in the table, which confirms that. Okay, which confirms that. Then if you go back here, look at how they do. If you go back here, if you check each game, let's say Milwaukee Bucks total. If you look at it, I calculated that if they got in the average is 124.2. If you look at that, the total here is 119 as an over. If you want to play it over 119.5, understand, the one is very close to 124 a little bit. It's very close. Then if you want to play it over 123, understand, over 100.5, okay, it's very, which means the 119 is likely, I'm not saying is likely to enter based on your own statistics. Understand, based on your own statistics, it's likely to enter. But this video, I want to give more lowdown on how to confirm this as well. Then if you go to Indiana, we calculate that Indiana got, if you divide them under head to head, they got 112. 112, okay. The least one is 109, understand, and the highest is 113. This is how they calculate their things. So when they calculate it this way, you find out that it will have almost the same to what they placed here from the calculation. Then you use your number 6 and say, okay, if this if Milwaukee has 119.5 here and you calculated 124.2, what is it gonna be? Is it, are you gonna play it? If it is above 6-7, okay, you can just take that risk and do it and play it that way by enter. Which means if you play 119, it is 60% sure that you get it. Like I said, these things are dynamics. It's not something that is static. It's not something that is mathematics that you solve and get the answer. That is it. No, we're talking about human beings. And likewise, the Indiana. If you play it this way, but if you want to get the handicap, like I said, since you've calculated the Milwaukee average to be 124 and you calculated the Indiana to be 112, you minus it. You say 124.2 minus 112, it will give you maybe 12. To give you 12, that's how you go for the handicap. So look at the handicap, they placed it away plus because you always consider the least as in the less difficult and the less strong teams. So you are giving them the handicap to win. So look at it plus 16.5. And why you calculated it, that's 124 minus 112 is 12.5, which means 16.5. If you give Indiana to win this game, you understand? Oh, yes, it is 60% sure or 70% sure that you're gonna get it. And I say you're gonna get it. But to further confirm this all these things, you have to go over to statistics again. Okay, go over to statistics and go to H2H new. If you go to H2H new, now this H2H new is talking about the games they play with other clubs, not necessarily the past games they play together with the games they play with other clubs. If you look at it, for example, here, you'll notice that if you even plus the Milwaukee games, if you look at the Milwaukee games, Milwaukee and have not been wonderful playing. If you look at this, they found that they have not been wonderful. They have not been excellent. If you look at Indiana, if Indiana outperformed has better scores than them when we are talking about other challenging other team. So if you look at Milwaukee now, if you calculate it, 95, 102, 114, 1111, 134, divided by 5 as well. What you have to get there in Milwaukee is 106.2. When you do the same to the Indiana, you get 112, which means Indiana 112 under the H2H, that new. 112, which means Indiana is even better than 106, which is Milwaukee. They score more when you compare it to other teams than Milwaukee. So if you plus it, you give you 280, which means the one you plus under H2H without new is 236 is greater. Between them, they score better goals. They score goals amongst them than when they play with other teams. Especially Milwaukee don't score. So these are the things you have to get. Then you have to get their common challenger. In this game, their common challenger here is New York and the Charlotte. If you look at it, New York under Charlotte, if you compare New York, what they played, they had 107 and Milwaukee had 111, which means Milwaukee had a better distance. I passed them by, let's say, I passed them by how many? That is 107 and 1111, just 10. That's 4 around the corner, only 4. If you look at Indiana compared to Indiana, New York, sorry, is 119 compared to 113 of Indiana, which is around that kind of 6. Understand? Now, if you look Charlotte, which are the Charlotte has 111 and Indiana has 116. And if you look at it, okay, let's use this in New York and check the table. First of all, if you check the New York table, and you found out that New York is even just how many points ahead of Indiana. And if you look at it, it's very okay. The Milwaukee won New York, and Indiana didn't. So it's very understandable, and it confirms that Milwaukee is greater, is better in the common challenger. Then if you compare it with Charlotte is they are second to the last. And if you check if you go back and check their common challenger, compare it. So Charlotte has 111, while Indiana has 116. And Charlotte has 138, while this Milwaukee. So look at Milwaukee has 109. Now, who would This all these things are 2023, by the way. Charlotte, which is on the table. If you look at Charlotte on the table, they have it's a second to the last here on the table. And who would have known that Charlotte will win Milwaukee? Look at it. If you look at it, Charlotte won Milwaukee. Look at their table. Charlotte won Milwaukee, and Chelsea second to the last. They won them, and this is 2023. What they have, even the gap was too much. And if you are somebody that played this game, if you are somebody that played it, you will start shouting, why did the calculation did not work, this and that. But look at it. It's the dynamics I'm talking about. You're talking about human beings. But that doesn't mean you will not get the calculation. All the calculation I have been doing here has been right. Only that that Charlotte won Milwaukee, which is a fallout. With this only, you start checking if actually this Milwaukee can beat Indiana Pacers. Start checking it, and when you checking it, and start reasoning it. Okay, in that aspect, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, the first thing you have to conclude by saying that is either you play a handicap or you play outright win, or you come here and play this. So by our calculation under H2H, you found out that the calculation we made is 236.2. Why the one they have, the least one they have there is 226.5, which is 236 points is above. So if you play it over 226.5, you are under probability that it is above 60%. It's 60% sure that you will win this game. And if you look at it, what they gave you is 1.5, which is also an indication that you might get it. So if you want to play it only, if you want to check based on their okay, yeah, if you want to check on based on individuals, okay, their individual scores. If you look at it, the Milwaukee got 124.2, and if you look at it, 119, that would not be, and the highest one there over 123 is even lesser than the calculation made here, which is also an indication that okay, this might enter, 119 might enter. But like I said, this is dynamics. Now, if you play it, it might enter, but it's dynamic. It's dynamic. So the same applies to Indiana. So these are the indications. So if you give Indiana plus 16.5 to win, you are correct. You can still win it. You are correct based on the statistics. You are correct, because if you minus the 124 you got from Milwaukee to 112 you got from Indiana, it is plus 12. So they gave you plus 16 here. You might get it, but based on Indiana is away, it might be shaky. But based on, if you look at it, the 1.39 is a small odd, which is they know what they did. Why they put it why they put it at this small odd is because they thought the people that put this game, and they have the indication that it might enter. So if you can cover your eyes, it's also 60% and above, 60% sure that you can get this game. But based on the Indiana away, you can be skeptical and say, okay, do I have to play it? Now, which other one will I play? Or do I have to play over 226.5? Which one do I play? Or do I have to play over, choose one? So if all these things you have checked them, and you found out that you are still confused on what to do, then what do you have to do? What do you have to do? You check other means. But these things are something sometimes you take the risk and do it. If you check your statistics and see that it's right, you are on the right corner to do it, close your eye and play it. And there's one indication I want to tell you. People that play basketball and give them go and play 12 games in basketball, you cannot make it. Basketball is very difficult to play that. It's not like football. If you want to play basketball, you add it, mix it up with the tennis, mix it up with lawn tennis and mix it up with football. If you want to play 12 games, for example, you can put 7 games on football and put something like 5 games or something like 5 games on basketball, or you can put 8 games on football and put the rest 4 games on basketball. That's how you have to do it. Mix it up. Don't play accurately. If you want to play basketball all through 12, 13 games, other ones, make sure you flex it. Because one good thing about basketball, they have bigger odds than football, which is nice. But but you have to be also intelligent. Don't come here and come to the chat room or come to the comment section, start blabbing and saying the calculation was not right, this and that. The calculation I did and I'm doing here is the way these people that put this game calculated it as well. But you have to use your number 6 and know what to do. I've told you what you have to do here. Now, if you look at it, there's a calculation, then you choose the one you have to play. All these things I've told you from the calculation, all of them are entering. All of them are entering. So anyone you play here is also good for you. This game is right. And if you want to play outright win, for example, that's what this video is all about. Then from the indication for what I stipulated here, Milwaukee has 70% sure to win this game, all because they are at home, one. Second thing is because if you look at their calculation, H to H, they are better off. The gap is okay, is reasonable. But the third thing there is because when you compare it to the New York as a common challenger, Milwaukee did absolutely better than the Indiana. But when you talk about Charlotte, you find out that that is where the fallout is, which is giving me some indication that it can really work. Then finally, if you go to the table, for example, if you go to the table, you see the table, you see that the gap they give Indiana is too much. So that is an indication you can say, okay, 70% sure that if you're giving Milwaukee a go ahead to win outrightly, it might enter. I'm not telling you to play this game and play Milwaukee. Not if you come to tomorrow in my this thing start blabbing. Say based on my general. Yes, this is statistics. You can I say 70%. I will not tell you that they're 100% sure that they will win, but 70% based on the calculation I have done. Thank you for this video. I'll make more videos on basketball. Thank you very much.